Welcome back. In this video we're going to look at just completing the setup. As I mentioned at the end of the last video, we just need to add some configs to our beamable backend, stuff like API keys, Quago credentials. This is very simple. You just want to go to your beamable dashboard, go to the game, make sure you're in the correct realm. Then you want to go under operate, you want to go to config. And here we can basically add the configs that were referenced. If you remember, they were referenced in the game server microservice here. So just want to make sure we add a config, make sure the namespace is accounts, and then we would add them here, such as Zebedee API key, and then we would put our Zebedee API key there, and just make sure they're all added and they are all correct. And that's really it for adding the configs. We also have the value here, the reward amount. So this is the amount of Bitcoin or sats they will get per the reward time, which is 5 minutes. You probably want to change this to something like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, but for just testing, I'd say it's 5 minutes just to make it that little bit quicker. Once that is all set up, I want to just basically press play here. And this will build the microservice locally, so it will be running in the Docker container. And that will allow us to test in the editor. So we can see it should log some information here. So we've got some information here. We can see I've played 0 out of 5 minutes. And this is coming from the microservice logs. So total playtime mins, Quago 0. So we take a look. These are just logs that I added. You should change these, but yeah, this is this log here. So it's basically getting the total playtime that has been sent from the client, and then also just logging out the total playtime that Quago has detected. So you can kind of like test it here a little bit. Quago is mainly designed to work on Android and iOS, so the main test will be once we build it to an Android device, which we'll do soon. We've got a little countdown here. This is configurable as well. Every 60 seconds, I think, or 30 seconds, it will basically send the current playtime to the microservice. It will basically update it. So it's updating it. And we can see that, yeah, I've got 1 minute of play now. So if we play, again, in about 55 seconds, it'll say 2 minutes. So you can change this to make it send it more often. It's probably better to send it more than 60 seconds. Obviously, it'll cost a little bit more. Beamable will charge you a tiny amount each time you call the microservice. So, but I think the cost is not that much, that it's fine to send it every 10 seconds or something. I think that's configurable in here, yeah, check time. I just set it to 60. That's about it. So before we actually test it on our device, we need to publish it. So when we press publish, this will actually publish it to the Beamable cloud. So this code that was running locally will now run in production. So I'll just press publish. It's just warning me that I'm pushing to production. I guess generally you would push to dev, and then you would promote from dev to staging to production. But just for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm going directly to production. Okay, we can see now that has deployed. So now when we built our device, it will connect directly to the cloud, which is as it should be. If you run in the editor, it will always try to connect locally. So we need to build to our device. So I'm going to do that now. Let me just plug in my Android device. Okay, now I just want to go to Unity and build and run. Great, we can see it's built on our device. Obviously we have 0 minutes playtime, so I'm just going to play for a minute. And then we will be able to see we've got a minute's worth of gameplay. So we can see we've played for over a minute now. Never click on the UI here. It's got a handy little uh, progress bar saying I've got 4 minutes left until I get the next reward. And there's some information here as well, just to explain how it works. If they will need the Zebedee app to withdraw. If they don't have it, they can get the app here. However, we are using the send to email feature, so if they don't have the Zebedee app installed and they just enter their email, when they press withdraw, they will get an email from Zebedee telling them to download the Zebedee app to claim their sats. If they do have a Zebedee account already with that email, then the sats will be sent directly to their Zebedee account. So it's a really nice frictionless onboarding flow. So let me just play for a little bit longer so I can show you how it's possible to get some sats and to withdraw. Yep, so now I've played over 5 minutes and I've got 10 sats. And we can see that the progress reset, and I have to do another 5 minutes, or in this case 4 minutes, to get my next reward. So now all I have to do is enter my email. And tap withdraw. There we go. And withdrawal has been sent to my Zebedee account. So I already have an account. So I should see a little notification here. Yep. Saying that I received 10 sats here. I got 10 sats. And it's as simple as that. Just another thing to mention, we can actually see the logs on the server by going to operate microservices and clicking here and pressing logs. This is quite handy just to help you debug. So now let's have a quick look at blacklisting and whitelisting. So if we look at the code, especially rewards controller, if we detect cheating, sorry, game server, wrong place. If we detect cheating, for example, Quago is telling us the inauthentic playtime percentage is greater than 0, I can add an item to the user's inventory, which I'm calling blacklisted. And if they are blacklisted, they won't be able to play. So in order to do that, we can just take a look. Let's find the user's beamable ID, which I've put here. If I go to engage, I think it's engage players, I can search for a user with the ID. Oh, but it's 881, this one here. And I can go to the inventory and see their current items. So you can see here the sats are 0. So when I had 10 sats, that would have been set to 10. Gems is just something I think that came default. We can ignore that. This is the amount of time they have already been rewarded for. So I've been rewarded for 5 minutes of playtime. And coins, I think, is something which is also default. So we can probably just remove those. So if I wanted to give the user more sats as an admin, I could go and edit this. But I'm actually going to give them an item here, and the item I'm going to choose is blacklisted. And I'll press save. So now, like this would trigger if a user has been, cheating has been detected. But what that means, I think now, if I actually play the game, it should start to show me some errors. There we go. So yeah, it's saying we need to verify your account first. So basically, I'm detecting if a user is blacklisted, I'm showing an error. So you can configure this message, make it a bit, maybe the error is a bit harsh. I recommend, as I mentioned before, I recommend don't saying like you're banned, you're blacklisted, you're cheated, because it could be a false positive. But something like we just need you to contact the support, we need to verify your account before withdrawing is a good way to approach it. But if a user has been automatically blacklisted, you can go into here and you can just remove this. And maybe you can add another item, maybe whitelisted as well. Whitelisted. Well, I think what I'm doing with whitelisted. So if a user keeps getting blacklisted for whatever reason, but you trust them, you might want to just manually whitelist them, which means that they'll never be blacklisted in the future automatically. That's something that you can configure. Anyway, if I start again, I shouldn't get that error anymore. Yeah, so it's fine. Again, so this is something that maybe you want to play around with, exactly why and when you blacklist them, but it's important to have a blacklisting, whitelisting feature. That's about it. I think in the next video, I'm just going to give some final thoughts, some recommendations, and then talk about what else we're going to do in this series. There are more security things that we can add and that we should add, such as adding Google Play integrity or Apple device check. So these are things that from Google Play and Apple that let you, they verify that the device is real and it's free. It kind of helps. It helps stop quite a big deal with bots installing your app. We can look at geo restrictions. You know, how can we stop certain countries playing withdrawing and all fun things like that. We can also probably going to look at adding a different reward mechanic. For example, the bird gets a coin rather than making it time based, and just seeing how we can do that. But thanks for watching. And so this is, I demoed it in Android, but this is completely compatible for iOS. You just need to change your build config and build for iOS. But if you have any questions, do let me know, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thank you.